The crystalline halls of the Vexarian royal palace stretched endlessly, refracting light into 1,000 dancing colors. Princess Melissa stood on the observation deck, her translucent wings folded tightly against her back, watching another suitor's ship depart into the violet sky. That made 17 rejections in as many cycles. Your Highness, her attendant whispered, perhaps you are being too selective. Melissa's multifaceted eyes flickered with barely contained frustration. Selective? They were unsuitable. Every single one. She turned away from the viewport, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with agitation. The Krallian prince couldn't hold a conversation beyond military conquests. The Thexian ambassador was twice my age and already had 4 consorts. And don't even mention the Zephyrite. He couldn't stop admiring his own reflection long enough to notice I was in the room. The Vexarian Empire demanded its Princess Mary for political alliance, but Melissa had refused each candidate her father presented. She knew the whispers that followed her through the palace corridors, ungrateful, foolish, romantic. But she wouldn't bind herself to someone who saw her as merely a trophy or a treaty. There is one more, her attendant said hesitantly, a representative from a newly contacted species. The humans. Melissa had heard of them, the strange bipedal creatures from a water-heavy world called Earth, recently emerged into the galactic community. Most species dismissed them as primitive, their technology barely adequate for interstellar travel. Send him away with the others. Your father insists you meet him. The Galactic Council is watching, Your Highness. If you refuse every suitor. Melissa sighed, the sound like wind through crystal chimes. Fine, but this will be the last one. William Chen stood in the reception hall, acutely aware that he was completely out of his depth. The Human Diplomatic Corps had sent him, a xenoanthropologist, not a politician, because everyone else had refused the assignment. Who wanted to court an alien princess who'd rejected 17 suitors in a row? But William had studied Vexarian culture for months during Earth's first contact protocols. He knew their art, their philosophy, their deep appreciation for intellectual discourse. He'd volunteered for this mission not for politics, but because he was genuinely fascinated. The princess entered and William's breath caught. She was beautiful in a way that transcended species. Graceful, luminous, and clearly exhausted by the parade of inadequate suitors. He bowed in the Vexarian manner, lower than necessary, showing genuine respect rather than obligation. Princess Melissa, he said in carefully practiced Vexarian, thank you for granting me this audience. I am William Chen of Earth. Her crystalline eyes studied him. You speak our language. Poorly, I'm afraid. But I wanted to try. He switched to standard galactic common. I've been studying your culture. The poetry of the Third Harmonic Era is particularly moving. Melissa's bioluminescence flickered. Surprise, William had learned from his studies. You've read our poetry? Song of the Shattered Moon changed how I think about loss, William said honestly. The way your poet described grief as light fragmenting through broken crystal. It's beautiful. For the first time in weeks, Melissa felt something other than dread. Most species find our poetry impenetrable. Most species don't try to understand it, William replied. They see difference as obstacle rather than opportunity. They talked. Hours passed without either noticing. William asked questions, genuine questions about Vexarian philosophy, art, and Melissa's own thoughts on leadership. He didn't posture or brag. He didn't make demands or assumptions. He simply listened, engaged, and shared his own perspectives with refreshing honesty. On Earth, William explained, we have a concept called Ubuntu, from one of our many cultures. It means I am because we are. The idea that our humanity is bound up in one another's. We have something similar, Melissa said, her wings unfurling slightly, a sign of comfort. The resonance. That all beings are harmonics in the same universal song. Exactly, William smiled. See? Not so different after all. Over the following weeks, William remained at the palace, not as an insistent suitor but as a friend. He made no demands for marriage or alliance. Instead, he introduced Melissa to human music, which fascinated her, and she taught him Vexarian meditation techniques. They debated philosophy, laughed at cultural misunderstandings, and slowly, carefully built something neither had expected. Why did you come here? Melissa asked one evening as they watched Earth rise over the horizon. a blue marble visible from the palace observatory. Honestly, because I wanted to meet you, William said. Not Princess Melissa, political asset, but Melissa, the person who wrote that treatise on reforming trade regulations, the one who anonymously publishes poetry under a pseudonym. She stared at him. How did you know about that? I read everything I could find about you. The real you, not the diplomatic profile. He met her multifaceted gaze steadily. You're brilliant, Melissa. You deserve someone who sees that. Her bioluminescence pulsed in patterns William had learned meant deep emotion. The other suitors, they never asked what I wanted, what I dreamed about. You're the only one who treated me like a person rather than a prize. That's because you are a person, William said simply. An amazing one. Melissa made her decision then. Not because of political pressure or galactic alliances, but because she'd found something rare in any species. Genuine connection. When Melissa announced her choice, the Galactic Council was shocked. Humans, the newcomers? The primitive species with their chemical rockets and binary computers? But Melissa stood before the assembled dignitaries, her hand clasped in William's, and spoke with conviction. This human saw what 17 so-called superior species could not. That partnership requires respect, curiosity, and genuine care. That is why I choose him, the Emperor, seeing his daughter's resolve, and the political opportunity of aligning with an emerging species, gave his blessing. As the council chambers erupted in debate, William leaned close to Melissa. You know this makes Earth a major player in galactic politics now, right? She smiled, her bioluminescence warm. Good. Maybe your species will teach the others something about seeing beyond appearances. William squeezed her hand. We'll figure it out together. And in that moment, humanity proved what it would continue proving to the galaxy. That their greatest strength wasn't technology or military might, but their inexhaustible capacity to connect, understand, and love across any divide.